Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Earth Day. I chose to wear my green today to celebrate. You could either change into a nice, cool green shirt like mine or some blue to celebrate our special day. Today we're going to talk about Earth Day and how important it is to celebrate our Earth and how be kind to it and how to keep it clean. So there are three really important things to talk about as far as keeping our planet healthy and clean. So they are the three, I call them the three R's because all of the words start with the letter R. How crazy. So the three things are reduce, reuse, recycle. Say it with me. Reduce, reuse, recycle. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each and what we can do to protect our planet, to be kind to our planet, because our planet is where we live. We live here, so we really need to be kind always and take care of our planet. So reduce. We can reduce by turning off lights when we're leaving a room that we're no longer going to be in. It wouldn't be good to leave our bedroom and leave the light on because no one's in there. Now, if brother or sister's in there, well, leave the lights on. But if we're leaving the room and no one else is in there, turn off the lights, save some electricity. We can also reduce the amount of water we use when we brush our teeth. So when we're brushing our teeth, we need water, but do we need the faucet on running while we're scrubbing away? No, we do not. We just need to get our toothbrush wet when we put our toothpaste on, and then we don't need the water, so let's turn it off, and then we scrub, get those pearly whites clean, and then we turn the water back on. So we can save water by turning the faucet off when we're brushing our teeth. Okay, so that was the first one. Reduce. Reuse is the second one. We can reuse a lot of things. We can reuse water bottles. So if you're thirsty and you finish your water bottle, instead of just throwing it away, you can reuse it. So I know later you're going to be thirsty, so you can use that same water bottle, go fill it up again, and reuse it. You can also reuse paper, and I know a lot of you have been doing that this whole time we've been learning online. I have as well. If you have a paper and one side's already an activity on it and it's already done, reuse the paper by using the back side that's plain. This one, well, you can see the typing through the top there, but that's okay. But I can reuse this paper instead of just throwing it away. I can get two uses out of one piece of paper. So that is reusing. And today's most important one is recycling. There are different items we recycle. We recycle plastic, so our plastic water bottles, milk jugs, any kind of plastic container. And then we also recycle paper, newspapers, magazines, all of those. We recycle tin, so our cans, soda cans, food cans, anything like that. And we also recycle glass, so any glass bottles or a jar of jelly, we also recycle. But we only recycle after we use the item. So after we finish the jelly, we recycle the can. We don't just recycle a wonderful brand new jar of jelly, do we? No, we have to use it first. So, like our water bottles, when we finish our water bottle, then we recycle. We don't just throw our full water bottle into the recycling. That would be super silly. So, we are going to talk about recycling today, and our activity is actually a fun math activity about recycling. We are going to make our own Earth Day graph. So, in order to get started, what you're going to need is you are going to need your own graph. So, I drew a graph up here on the board. I also posted a picture of this graph on our week schedule. So if you have access to a printer and can print it out, wonderful. If not, you can make this graph just like I did. I made it on my whiteboard back here. You can make it on a piece of paper. You could make it on, if you have a whiteboard like mine, a chalkboard, you can make it on anything that you'd like, but it'll look like this. So at the bottom, we have 4 items. We have cans, we have water bottles, boxes, and newspaper or papers. Okay, so those are our 4 categories. Those are 4 items we're going to be looking for today around our house. And then up the side, starting at the bottom with number 1, we're going to write our numbers 1 all the way up to 10. Okay, so It's important that you have the lines in your graph because we're going to be counting our objects and we're going to be coloring in those boxes as we graph, okay? Graphs are really, really cool because so many different professions, so many different people use graphs in their everyday life. We are going to use graphs in kindergarten. You're going to use them in first grade, second grade, all the way up. And so I'm kind of going to show you how we can do our graphs, how we can create one. So you're going to want to make your graph first. So if you didn't do that yet, you can pause me here and do that and then join us because we're going to get started. So with our graphs are used to compare things. So what we're doing today is we are comparing all of the different recyclable items that we have in our house. We're going to see which group has the most. We're going to see which group has the least, and it's going to be really fun and really cool. Okay, so we are going to look at our graph. I'm going to look down here and we're going to get started. So my first item is a can. So I drew my can. Not the best picture, but that's okay. And I wrote the word can. So I looked around my house and I was looking for cans, and silly me could not find one single can around my house. And you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, Miss Liz, how do you not have a can? I don't know. We didn't have cans. So maybe the recycling, when we put recycling out the other night, they probably took all of our cans and that's where all my cans went. But that's okay. So I have 0 cans. So I'm not going to color any part of my graph because 0 is 0. I don't color any boxes. So I'm going to go to my next column. Columns go up and down. So when I say my water bottle column, I want you to point to my water bottle column with us. It's where the water is and we go up and down, okay? So that's my water bottle column. I do have some water bottles around, so empty water bottles. So we are going to count those together. Are you ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 water bottles. So I'm going to pick a color. Do my purple for my graph. You can use all different colors for this graph if you'd like, but one color per item. So my water bottles are purple. And I'm going to look at my graph, make sure I'm in my water bottle column. So I'm pointing there. And I'm going to color in this column. Now, very important, when we do a graph, we always start coloring from the bottom. So I will color 1 box per water bottle. So if I have 4 water bottles, how many boxes should I color on my graph to show how many water bottles I have? Very good. I'm going to color in 4 different blocks. So why don't you count with me? So remember, you start at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just to check to make sure that I did only color in 4 spots, I'm just going to look over. I'm going to point, look over to my left, and there's the number 4. So I did indeed color in 4 spots. So my 4 water bottles. My next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the boxes. So I did find some boxes around my house, and I'm going to show you them now. I have a nice shoebox, crock box. So that's 1. And I have another box. I have 2 boxes. This box was actually Miss Callie's college books in here because she's learning just like you guys. So I have 2 boxes. So I'm going to move these out of the way. But we know I have 2. And I need to color in how many spots on my graph? 2. Very good. Yes, so I'm going to use my green, my Earth Day color. And we're going to find box. Do I start coloring from the top or from the bottom? Very good, the bottom. You were listening. Wonderful job. So I found box. I'm going to start in the box right above box. Oh my goodness. Whew. So many times saying the word box. All right, and I'm going to color in 2 spots. 1, 2, and I can check. Yep, I colored in 2. So now by looking at my graph, we're going to compare which item has the most. Do I have more water bottles or do I have more boxes? Very good. I have more water bottles, and you can tell that easily by looking at which item goes up higher on my graph. So wonderful. Very, very good. We have one more item to count, and that is my newspapers. So I found the clippers from the back of my newspapers. My parents really like to read the newspaper online, so I didn't actually have the real newspapers, but I do have, like I said, the clippers from them. So let's count them together. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, so I have 5 of the newspaper clippers. So I'm going to pick a new color. I'll use my blue, Earth Day blue and green. And I'm going to color in how many spots. If I had 5 newspapers, how many spots do I color on our graph? 5. Very good. And do I start at the top or the bottom? You're so smart. Yes, I start at the bottom. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to check. Yep, I colored in 5. So now we're going to use our graph and we're going to look and compare. Let's see which items I had more of. Okay, so by looking at my graph, which item did I have the greatest amount of? Which item? Was it the cans, the water bottles, the boxes, or the newspapers? The newspapers, right. I had the most newspapers. There was 5. And you can look and see my newspaper column goes up the highest on my graph. So that means I have the most newspapers. Which item did I have the least of, the smallest amount of? This one's a little tricky, but I think you're going to notice it pretty quickly. Very good. I had the least amount of cans because I had 0 cans. None. So I had the smallest amount of cans. So the cans were the lowest. Very good. So I used my graph to compare the recyclable items I had around my house. So now you're going to do the same. You're going to go find some items around your house, make your own graph. Make sure when you're looking for items, I only did a small amount of each. You don't need to grab 100 water bottles. That's okay. Our graph goes up to 10, so no more than 10 of each item, okay? And you're going to count them, and then you're going to graph them just like we did up here. Use your different colors, and I want you to send me a picture of your completed graph when you are done, okay? So happy Earth Day. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Follow those 3 R's to be kind to our Earth because our Earth is so, so kind to us, okay? So have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.